So let me say this. Let me come full circle on the podcast. You don't have to do any of this. You don't. There's a lot of people in our church that attend that don't give anything. And I joke, you can keep coming here for free. It's not, we're fine.
Yeah.
But you're missing out on all that God wants to do in your life.
Welcome to another episode of the One Life podcast. We're going to dive deeper into the weekend sermon. Pastor Jared, you just concluded our Next Level series, a study through some generosity type talks. So give us a little bit of a glimpse, looking back on the last 4 weeks. I think a fun question to ask as you conclude a sermon series, like what sticks out to you the most of like, hey, maybe that landed more than I thought, or I really loved this sermon more than I thought, or studying the weird parable we talked about last week. Like what stuck out to you the most about Next Level?
I was highly encouraged by the response and the people leaning into this. And the responses that I've heard over and over again. Now, again, I live in an echo chamber. I totally understand that. People only tell me the things that they think that I want to hear. So I get all of that as a pastor, right? That's a normal thing. But it was, hey, thank you for talking about money and finances and generosity, but not in a manipulative or let's make you guilty way.
Yeah.
And that's always been my approach, or that's the way I've tried to lead this church is, man, I want to take the guilt and shame off of you. And you don't have to do any of this. I think I said that multiple times. You don't have to do any of this, but then just go back to 2 Corinthians. Whoever sows sparingly, you'll reap sparingly. And I don't want that to be your story. I want you to live at the next level. And in order to do that, the antidote to all of this is generosity. So my job as your pastor is just to kind of hear the opportunities. You don't have to do it, but man, I would encourage you to, so you can live next level living. So that's kind of been the approach. So, I was torn, between two messages this weekend. And it was all about, I landed with the same thought, but it was the mindset. But once you understand that you actually are rich and blessed, you live in a different way. Yeah. The problem is nobody thinks they're rich. So if you have the right mindset, the proper mindset, it changes your behavior. So I was torn between two messages. I actually have a message planned for next year in a generosity series that I left on the cutting room floor this week. So I try not to worry too much about like what didn't land, more of like, okay, how can we help people take those next steps? So,
yeah,
like when you come to an end of a series, because it's preaching, let's want to nerd out for a minute. Preaching is science and art. The science is let's get an outline, but then the art piece is how do you deliver it? What's memorable, and then always the gauge for me is, are we helping people take a next step?
Yeah.
And so far, I haven't met with our team totally on all of this, but the data is showing us that people are starting to trust God in their finances. Yeah. And so that's the win at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's good. Or just not even that, but just being a naturally or I would say actually not naturally, it goes against your sin nature to just be generous. Yeah. And when you open yourself up to just being a generous person, yes, like giving financially, but also just like your time, being
your
generous
talent,
with your
everything.
kids.
That's right. It's the idea of, now money obviously is what Jesus talked about all the time, but generosity is a mindset. It's a way of living, and it's not just your money. It's everything about you. So go back to the conversation last week. You ever been around somebody that's generous? I mean, you're attracted to that person. Yeah. You love being around them. And it isn't even about their money. It's just their attitude, the spirit. It rubs off on you. And ultimately, you're just humbled by it. I mean, here's a perfect example of this. There is a family in our church, and they just have lived their life very, very generous. So here's a perfect example. Last year we were going to, did I share this with you? I think I had this conversation with somebody else. Last year we're going to take our kids snow skiing after Christmas.
Okay.
We have nothing. Like we moved here from Indiana, nothing. We're not going to, no goggles, nothing. And so I just call a member of our church and like, come on over. And they open up like their garage and like, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Coats, and they're like, oh, your youngest daughter probably needs this and goggles, and it means it meant so much to us. It was like, man, they're just so generous with their stuff. They didn't have to be, but they're like, yeah, of course, take this, and their stuff is not cheap. Like, it's nice,
Yeah.
but just their mindset, the way they live, it's those are the people that, man, you're just attracted to. Of like, it's not even like what receiving. I told this to Amanda, like, we need to treat our stuff in the same exact way. Of like, man, if anybody wants anything, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Like, come on over, take whatever you want, bring it back. I mean, that wasn't bring it back, but hey, take it and just enjoy the time.
That's good.
So that's the mindset of generosity, right? It wasn't even about their money. It was just the way they treat their stuff. That's next level living.
Yeah. That's good. I like that a lot. So I'm going to dive into the 3 questions that you hit on in a second.
Yeah.
But one of the things that stuck out to me the most too, just in your perspective of if you're rich or not, like top 1% of the world is making $45,000 or higher.
Crazy, right?
That is crazy. And that does shift our perspective, right? Because in our American bubble, we sit here and we like to play a pity party. And if I only had that, or if I had that, and to be honest, like the rest of the world looks at us and says the same thing.
Well, not to beat this horse to death, but the way Americans even read Revelation, like we have such a westernized view of Scripture.
Yeah.
I mean, tell that, like, do you not think the people in Nigeria right now, the church, the villages that are being burned for being Christian, persecution, do you not think that they're living through the tribulation? I mean, 100%. That's end time stuff.
Yeah.
But we only view it through like our lens of westernized American East Valley. $45,000 isn't enough money to survive. And I'm not shaming that. I'm saying, yeah, you're right. The American culture,
Yeah.
I don't know a family could survive on 45, at least, a comfortable life.
Mm-hmm.
But in Nigeria, dude, you're living like a king over there.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is we only view, and again, it's not right or wrong. It's just the reality. We only view it through our Western framework.
Yeah.
So again, my job as your pastor is, hey, I know it doesn't feel like you're rich, but collectively as a whole, man, we are so blessed. We don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And that is part of the American consumerism culture, is we're blessed and we don't feel like we are. And that's my job, is to remind our people, like, dude, God has given us so much, so many resources.
Yeah.
We're sitting, dude, on a Monday, we're sitting in a podcast studio.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what pastors all around the world, right, would die for an opportunity like this. And we just take it for granted.
Yeah.
So I'm guilty just like everybody else.
That's good. So I think in order to fulfill like the calling on our life, right, fulfill the purpose that He has for us, these are some questions that you ask towards the end, right? The first one is the relationship question. Who will I commit to relationally, right? So talk a little bit about that, speak into that. Why is that an important piece of the sermon? And then honestly, for us to have the next level generosity, next level lifestyle.
God builds His kingdom through relationships, community, no doubt about it. The local church is the hope of the world when it's working right. It's the one thing that Jesus came to establish. He didn't establish a school. He didn't establish a hospital. He established the local church. This is His plan A for reaching the world.
Yeah.
We are part of the redemptive story. So part of the local church is all about relationships. So I kind of hit pretty hard. I had an edge to me this weekend of just like this idea of we hop from place to place to place. Like, that's again, American church problem.
Yeah, just consuming it.
I like this preacher. I like this series. At the Movies is coming. I'm going to go there. But as soon as At the Movies is over, I'm going to go back to my church. I mean, who does? Dude, that doesn't happen anyplace else except the United States of America. Yeah. And so it's just that moment of like, you got to make a commitment. They go all in, and relationships are messy. So even as your pastor, there's things I'm going to do and say that you're not going to like. But my job is to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. But we are in relationship together. We don't bolt because it's a difficult time. Like we stick together. Now, I preface that by saying there probably might be times in the life of being a Christian and in a church where you just feel God saying, hey, I need to go someplace else. That's totally normal. But by and large, people just bolt on relationships or Christian community because of a preference. And that's what I'm pushing back against. So we're a family. we make a commitment. So I'm making a commitment to be in relationship here at One Life. Like Amanda and I, we're going to give our life here, Lord willing. And I'm going to say, so do the same. Like make a commitment to each other. Let's go on this journey together. So when it comes to my giving, I'm not in covenant relationship with the church, but the way Amanda and I like view it is, unless the Lord paints it clearly in the sky, like we are committed here.
Yeah.
And we're not going to go anywhere. So our dollars are going to follow that. So the first 10% of everything we make comes right here to the local church. We don't even think about it. It's a non-negotiable. Why? Because we're in relationship and we want to move the kingdom forward. So relationship to God, but then relationship to others.
Yeah. What do you think? Let's go back to a little bit more of the consumer, and let's throw the our weekly sports illustration on this, right? Because I think ultimately, like you see this even in college football, there's a little bit of like the whole transfer portal thing. Like this doesn't fit my needs, so I'm gonna bail. This coach said this, I'm gonna bail. I'm not getting enough playing time here, I'm gonna bail. Like, so in the sports world, you see that. The church world really isn't that much different in terms of like the moment something doesn't go your way, it's easy to say, oh, the grass really is greener on the other side. And then what happens a few months later, that church makes you upset and you go somewhere else. And before you know it, you're raising a family. You've gone to 6 churches in 6 years, but then you realize, and we get this a lot from people that are coming to us like, well, all of those other churches had the problems. And like, what, so speak into that for a little bit. Like, I guess the question I want to ask really is, what are the reasons to disassociate from a church family? What are some of like, healthy is not the right word, but what are the biblical foundations of, hey, it's time we need to move on? And then what are some of the things that you get a lot that you're like, that wasn't a reason to leave a church? Like, why are you disassociating?
So, hey, that's a really great question. Let me quickly say this. I only know of a handful of people that are in the same church their entire life.
Yeah.
Most of us have moved from place to place. Either we've moved location, that's a normal move, or God has led us someplace else. So I recognize even the growth track last week, I'll ask people, hey, where are you coming from? Church? I'm like, yeah, what church have you attended? Rarely do I hear, oh, we've never been to church. This is our very first experience. It's always, we're coming from another church down the road, or we moved here. Moving is a really good like reason because you want to be a part of a local church. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Those would be like the normal reasons like people would transfer, or you would just simply say, hey, we just sensed God was leading us to a new place. And then I always follow back with, yeah, but why? Why were you open to that conversation? Like Amanda and I, we're not even open to that conversation. So, and again, I'm the pastor here. I get that. But I get job offers all the time. Like probably monthly, there's an email coming through of like, hey, there's a lead pastor position over here. Are you interested in this? And immediately our response is, I'm not even open to it. So no, thank you, flattered, God bless you. And then, you know anybody and all that. So there has to be a reason why you're even open to it. And then you just pick at that a little bit. A good reason to leave a church is the church is not on mission, reaching people for Jesus. Maybe it's become like a social club. It's become all about, meeting certain needs in an. We've talked about that a lot on this podcast. But if you're looking for a church that's on mission, reaching people for Jesus, finding a new place, that in my mind would be a really good reason to find a new church to attend. If it's a preference, the pastor said something that's not unbiblical, you just didn't like it, I find that hard to be like, man, so if you come here, then I'm going to say something that you're not going to like. And then 2 years later, you're going to go find a new place. I get that's normal, but that doesn't make it right. So my encouragement is like, no, you stick it out. You're in Christian community, you're in life group, you serve, all those things. You make a commitment in the good times and the bad times. And even when the pastor or a staff member does something that you don't necessarily like, if it's not unbiblical, like moral issue, it's just a decision that you don't like, I don't think that's a good reason to leave. Because there's always going to be, so let me say it this way. As members of the church that I pastor, people do crazy things all the time. Does that give me a reason to be like, well, I'm done? You made a decision I don't like? No. Like, it goes both ways, right? So I'm a human. Give me grace. Give our staff grace. If we're doing something unbiblical, immoral, I think those are good reasons to like raise the flag and
Yeah.
like, hey, but most of the time, people leave over petty reasons.
Yeah.
We're getting this now, and it's sad. I don't know what to do about it. The church is large, and we're hearing like it's not the same church it was 5 years ago, and if I feel like a number, and I hate that, but the reality is right. Like, you came when the church was 300 or 400 people, and now we're 1,500, 1,600. It's a different church. Like I can't know everybody anymore. Like, and most of the new people that show up don't expect that.
Yeah.
But if you've been here for a long time, there definitely is that. It's a different church. And so if, again, going back to a preference issue, and this is where I would give a little bit of grace. If you're like, no, I really want to belong to a smaller church. I want to know personally my pastor. One Life's not going to be that for you anymore. And then that's why I always say, like, let me help you find a place where you can connect. It doesn't have to be this church, but it needs to be a church. And so I think some of the reasons why people leave are just immature. But then there's some reasons of like, no, we feel called to a different place. Then my job as your pastor currently is then to help you find a place where you can serve, get involved, give, raise your families, all that type of stuff. So
that's good.
Did that answer your question?
You did.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's the healthiest way to look at it. I came from a background in like the Bible Belt where churches were very much competing against each other.
Yeah.
And it is like the sports world. Like, oh, you're transferring from Florida to go play at LSU? Well, you're the worst. And we hope that you have a terrible life. Like, that was kind of how we sent people out.
Yeah.
And this, your mindset and what you say, even to brand new people, though those aren't to church people like that are members yet.
I say it every time in the growth track.
Yeah. If this isn't the place for you.
You just heard the vision, mission, and values.
Yeah.
If you're like, this isn't the place for me, let me help you find a place. And again, I'm not your Holy Spirit, but I can, knowing what you're looking for, I can recommend some pastors and some churches that might be right up your alley. So for instance, like, I think there is people that move here, they're like, man, I'm looking for 100% of the time expository preaching. And expository preaching is like verse by verse. I do that probably 60% of the time. Other times, I just got through a Sound Mind series on mental health, and we're going into At the Movies. So I have a mix of topical, they would say, and expository, but some people are like, no, I am committed to biblical, like expository, all the time preaching. I'm like, great. I know a couple pastors close by, that's all they do, and that'd probably be a better fit for you. But then here's the thing, people will show up there, like, we're looking for something just a little bit different, and then those pastors will recommend One Life, and they'll recommend. So we're not in competition.
Yeah.
It's about the kingdom, and we're here to serve one another.
Yeah.
So that's what I do love. And I would say what's unique about Arizona than other places is where I don't feel like I'm in competition with anybody. I can call the pastor of the largest church in the East Valley right now. I could text him, and he texts me right back. Like, hey, I'm trying to work through this problem. What do you think? And they're so generous with their resources and time and ideas that help us process some of the growing pains that we're experiencing right now.
Yeah.
So that's the wonderful thing about, I think, what God's doing in the East Valley.
Yeah.
We're on the same team.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, your second question, the difference question.
Yeah.
Will it make an eternal difference? So speak into that for a little bit.
So
then talk about the make a difference offering.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of an edge to it of all generosity is not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hope you give to nice things that you love, but if it doesn't have an eternal difference on it, like it's not going to show up in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the argument. Go back to Corinthians. All that stuff will burn. The only thing that will be revealed on the day is what lasts, what shows up in heaven. And so my job as your pastor is like, I don't want you to be empty-handed on that day. I want you to show up because of your generosity and how you manage your resources. I want there to be people in heaven because of you.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what's amazing. Because of the generosity of One Life Church through our partners, the Timothy Initiative, Togo, West Africa, Mexico mission trips that we go on, you may never go to Togo, West Africa on a mission trip. Maybe you're older and health-wise, you're just unable to travel. But if you're generous here at One Life Church, a portion of your generosity funds church plants in Togo, West Africa. Think about that.
Yeah.
There will be people in heaven that you have never met on earth because of your generosity. Churches were started under trees in Sri Lanka through the Timothy Initiative because of our generosity. Those people are going to be in heaven because of you. I mean, how amazing is that? And I don't want our people to miss that. That is next level living.
Yeah.
Where every dollar is connected to eternity.
That's good.
So that's my encouragement. So the Make a Difference offering that we have every year over and above what we normally give accelerates all of that. It accelerates the ministry at the porch. It accelerates Timothy Initiative, sending kids to camp, all of the things, outreach arms. We don't keep any of it. It goes out our doors. That's the Make a Difference offering. And people are already giving to that. Like as soon as I mentioned, like, hey, we're game for it. But the kind of the weekend that we put on the calendar for that, and they'll get a letter in the mail. All that is December 11 and 14 that weekend. But you can give now or anytime before the end of the year. And all of this funds outreach and missions for 2026. We don't keep any of it. It goes right back out our doors.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of that. So
that's good. All right, the last question was the God question. Is God speaking to me? So we've talked a little bit about this a few times on the podcast, but speak into it from the context of the sermon, generosity, how to identify God's voice and his direction, his calling. And then also I want to transition that into a little bit of what we have talked about, that the need to slow down to be able to hear God's voice in some of those things.
Yeah.
So speak into the God question.
So let me say this, let me come full circle on the podcast. You don't have to do any of this. You don't. There's a lot of people in our church that attend that don't give anything. And I joke, you can keep coming here for free. It's not, we're fine.
Yeah.
But you're missing out on all that God wants to do in your life. And as your pastor, I don't want you to miss out on this. I want you to go back to 1 Timothy, to take hold of life because it's truly the best life you could ever have. So be rich in good deeds, be generous on every occasion, willing to share. Like I want that for you, not anything from you. So all I ask, this is the only thing I ask of people when it comes to generosity. Ask God. Talk to God about it. And when God tells you to do something, do it. Hold nothing back. So for some people in this Make a Difference offering, God's going to tell them, give a lot of money. And others, God's going to say, hey, just try it. Maybe this is the entryway into just generosity. They've never given anything, and God's going to say, try it. So my prayer is that every single person at One Life Church, member, attender, I don't online, I don't care, that they just do something, 100% involvement.
Yeah.
And if all of us do something, God's speaking to us, whatever he tells us to do, we do it. That's when we make an incredible difference. So in order for you to do that, you have to be humble. Money flows in, money flows out. God, you own it all. We're just the stewards. What do you want us to do? Then to answer your point is you have to make a commitment to having that not even a hard conversation, but you just have to make that commitment to have that conversation with God, to slow down enough to where you actually can hear God speak to you. So turn off the noise around you and make it a priority. So that was kind of like the way I landed of, hey, as we enter into this generosity season as a church, just ask God, what do you want me to do? Who do you want me to invite? Who are you going to put in my path?
Yeah.
And if you live your life this way, not just for the Make a Difference offering or all the things we have going on, but if you just live your life this way, every interaction that you have is not a task. It's a ministry opportunity.
Yeah, that's good.
So the server at the restaurant, they're not doing something for you. Like, God, how can I bless them? And I'm not even talking about financially. Like, how can I just be nice, right? And not demand, but just have a generous approach and attitude towards them. It changes it changes how you live your life.
Yeah.
So that's my prayer for people is generosity is not about your money. It's about a lifestyle. It's a mindset. And when you understand that you really are rich, it changes the way you behave.
It's really good.
In every way. So that's my prayer for every member of One Life Church, collectively as a church, that we would be known in Mesa, Arizona, and this would be so cool, as the most generous people. That people would say all around us, I don't know if I believe everything that they believe, but there's something different about those people.
Yeah.
It's almost like when early church, the unbelievers were like, I don't know like who they are, but I know they've been with Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, how cool would that be for people in our community? Like One Life, man, there's something different about them.
Yeah.
It's just the way we live our life. It's the way we steward the resources that God gives us.
I love it.
So
it goes back to even our Nehemiah series, right? We're built different. There should be something different.
100%.
Yeah, that's great. All right, give us real quick.
Countercultural.
Yeah.
That's in a world that's so selfish, where everybody's out to get them, everybody's out just to nickel and dime, to look at every receipt and make sure everything. I'm not saying that's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but like, man, just like, what's the heart behind that? Like, okay, somebody taking advantage of you. Okay. Like, I think the heart of Jesus is just like, of course they are. They're unbelievers.
Yeah.
They don't know better. So let's lead them a different way. That's always my approach with people. I mean, I shouldn't say always. I try very hard for that to be my approach.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
All right, give us real quick.
Okay. 5
weekends in a row
Let's
of
go.
At the Movies. It is officially here. This Thursday night, it kicks off at our Mesa
People
campus.
are fired up. I'm hearing stories of, in fact, somebody stopped me yesterday and they said, Pastor Jared, we have friends for 30 years. They've never, ever been to a Christian church.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming on Thursday night.
Nice.
And so I was praying right now. Like, and here's what's really cool. Like, the pressure's off. I don't have to like preach. I mean, the sermons are already done.
Yeah.
So this is 100% where I just trust the Holy Spirit. Like, you did the work back in July when I recorded these.
Yeah.
So the people, I'm just praying God bring the right people.
That's true. I didn't think about that, because Easter, everybody hits you up and they're like, "Oh, my friend's coming. You better bring it."
Yeah,
you gotta...
don't screw it up,
Yeah.
Pastor. This one is like, well, it's if I screw it up, it's already done.
Yeah.
So it's. I would say it this way though: if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, I really, and so go back, God, who do you want me to invite? And God's putting people on your heart.
Yeah.
Like, you need to respond to that. You need to invite them. That's not happening on accident. God's putting them on purpose. So, my last 10%, you will be proud of the At the Movie series. There's nothing cringy or like, oh, like this. They are very good. And I know I'm doing them, but our staff, our team, I think they would all agree. Like, these are
it's gonna be
these
great.
are the best weekends to invite a friend to come with you.
100%. It's gonna be lots of fun.
Let's go. Can't wait.
All right.
So
Well,
it all
remember,
begins Thursday night.
Thursday night. Here we go. 5 weekends in a row. It's gonna be.
And one last plea.
Yeah.
Please do not attend the 10 a.m. service unless you are bringing a friend with you, and that's the only service you can attend. Yeah. We just need more seats.
At our Mesa campus.
At our Mesa campus.
You have to go to the 10 a.m. in Superior.
That's right. 10 a.m. Superior, totally fine. 9, 10:30 at
in
East.
You're
But
good to go. Yeah.
here at Mesa particularly, if you can roll off that 10 a.m. And so yesterday at the 11:30, there was a brand new couple at the growth track, and they're like, Pastor Jerry, I'm like, you guys always come to the 11:30? They're like, no, you told us to.
Nice.
And I'm like, man, you
Yeah.
one couple listen, let's go.
That's hilarious.
So that's where we are. I'm praying for like 50 to 100 couples to like roll off to either 8:30 Thursday night or the 11:30 off the 10.
And think about it, right? Like, our listeners, no one likes to go to the movie where every seat is full.
Yeah, like that's the
And
word.
you're sitting
sit
next
in the
to
very
strangers
front,
and-
looking up. Like, you want space around you.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
let's treat it like that. If you want space, I guarantee you there will be space at Thursday night and the 11:30 service.
Mm-hmm.
Not at 8:30 and not at 10.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
So there you go.
It's going to be fun At the Movies. Remember, the church is not a building we sit in. It's a movement we get to be a part of to reach one more life.
Let's
for
go.
Jesus.